There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Casey's 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee, had disappeared. No one had seen her in 31 days. She said a woman named Zenaida Gonzalez had her daughter.
She's been my nanny for about a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Casey also said she hadn't called police because she was doing her own investigation. But WFTV discovered and first showed you pictures of what she was really doing. She went to parties, won second place in a hot body contest, got a beautiful life tattoo, and shopped for beer and lingerie with stolen money. She sat in her own cell at the Orange County Jail for 36 days until a California bounty hunter came to town in his 10-gallon hat and posted her $500,000 bond.
I just gotta feel that there's some humanity in that woman.
Casey, did you kill Kaylee?
As the evidence mounted, so did outrage over Casey's release. Protesters gathered outside her house, calling her a baby killer.
We all know she killed that baby.
Months passed. Casey still wasn't talking. Then, in October, prosecutors got a grand jury indictment against her for first-degree murder with her father's help.
I want everyone to have prayer for all of us today, especially for my granddaughter.
2 months later, on December 11th, 2008, two big developments changed the course of the case.
I filed a waiver of speedy trial, and you've discussed this with your client, right?
Yes, I have.
Just minutes after the defense lifted the time limit on prosecutors to build their murder case, there was another 911 call, this one from a stranger.
I just found a human skull.
It was made less than a half mile from the Anthony's house by Orange County meter reader Roy Kronk.
She's not far. I know in my heart she's not far. I can feel it.
Casey Anthony broke down into tears as Judge Perry read potential jurors the indictment accusing the Florida mother of killing her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee Marie Anthony.
Chief Judge Belvin Perry got sharp with Casey Anthony's lead lawyer after he moved to strike the whole jury pool and start again because there were not enough Hispanics and African Americans.
You're asking me to go down to the jury room and just handpick folks based upon their race?
It's a story about Kaylee Anthony. Then Kaylee Anthony was murdered. Kaylee's death allowed Casey Anthony to live a good life.
The state just laid out its case against Casey Anthony, and the defense dropped a bombshell.
Kaylee Anthony died on June 16, 2008, when she drowned in her family's swimming pool.
And painted Casey as a victim.
Have you ever sexually molested your daughter, Casey Anthony?
No, sir.
Cindy Anthony sobbed, shuddered, and appeared to be about to collapse as the jury heard her frantic 911 calls for the first time.
I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter.
As the calls played out, Cindy cried with her head on the desk while jurors watched and listened.
It smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
We want you to base your verdict on the evidence, not on emotion. They gave you 2 weeks of testimony that was completely irrelevant and served only one purpose. And that was to paint Casey Anthony as a slut, as a party girl, as a girl who lies, and has absolutely nothing to do with how Kaylee died.
Mr. Baez, in his closing statement, would have you believe that there must be something wrong with Casey Anthony because she has, quote unquote, imaginary friends. Those weren't imaginary friends. Those were lies.
It is a trip down the rabbit hole into a bizarre world where men who love their granddaughters find them drowned and do nothing.
Breaking news here on Channel 9. We have a verdict in the case against Casey Anthony just within the last 2 seconds. Karen Levy, the courthouse spokesperson, came into the media room moments ago. There is a verdict in the Casey Anthony case. As I say these words, I get goosebumps.
As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. So say we all. Dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson.
I can't believe it. I don't even know why I'm this emotional. I have no attachment to them at all. I just can't believe it.
I'm in total shock. I mean, everything that's happened, it's basically like you almost have to film and watch somebody commit a crime and have it on video for something to happen today. Now, it's just disturbing.
I can tell you that my colleagues from coast to coast and border to border have condemned this whole process of lawyers getting on television and talking about cases that they don't know a damn thing about and don't have the experience to back up their words or the law to do it. Now you've learned a lesson.
This is what it was like in 2008 when Casey Anthony was released from the Orange County Jail. She was surrounded by a swarm of reporters as her attorney, Jose Baez, tried to get her into a waiting SUV. So Baez and the rest of her legal team have been in and out of the Orange County Jail more than once in the last 48 hours. They've been working with jail officials to come up with a solid security plan to get her out of the jail safely.
Casey Anthony walked out of the Orange County Jail just after midnight. Wearing a pink shirt and jeans, Casey was quickly escorted out by several armed deputies and attorney Jose Baez. She then hopped into this black SUV and took off.
It was fairly quiet until she walked out, and then there was a burst of just this cacophonic scream.
Only 3 journalists were allowed in and right outside the jail to capture Casey's release, but no one could ask any questions.